connecting you with the facts, the solutions, and your neighbors. This is 11 Connects News at 6 p.m.
11 Connects told you about the 8-year-old boy charged with arson after starting a fire at his foster home in Glade Spring in December. Home to Dan and Lana Colson and their 10 adopted kids. The child charged with arson now in state custody.
A convicted killer's confession has investigators re-examining a cold case tonight. Good evening, I'm Josh Smith. 11 Connects broke the story of Frederick Hammer's confession to murdering Julie Lovett in 2001. Johnson County Sheriff Mike Reese said Hammer gave a statement to Ashe County, North Carolina investigators about how and why he killed the 29-year-old woman. A young lady from Johnson City involved in a boating accident last summer has fought for her life and is alive today. Now, after losing a leg, she's in a new fight to regain some normalcy. And as Chris McIntosh discovered, the word quit is not in Miranda Johnson's vocabulary.
By the time I came back up to the surface, I didn't have time to move, and the prop from the boat just got me on my abdomen.
The prop also cut her hands. A quick trip to this boat dock and a quicker trip to the ER turned into 7 surgeries, 2 months in the hospital, and the loss of her hip bone and left leg. Now Miranda wants to get back to her job as a nurse. Late this afternoon, TennCare emailed me their 2 denial letters. They do include the wording that Miranda alluded to, but they also indicate that they are still gathering more information before making a final decision on Miranda's appeal.
Carter County Sheriff's deputies arrested a man wanted in North Carolina for murdering his 6-week-old son.
Colton Alice was born on November 9th and died just 6 weeks later on December 21st. Deputies say the crime occurred at this address on Kate Davis Lane. That's just outside of Newland, North Carolina.
Johnson County Sheriff's Office says it has a better understanding tonight of a possible motive in the murders of Billy Payne and Billie Jean Hayworth. Marvin Potter Jr. and Jamie Lynn Curd are each charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. They're accused of killing the couple last week in front of their 6-month-old baby. Seems almost too far-fetched, a double murder triggered by something that happened on Facebook?
Well, that's what investigators think. They say leading up to the murders, friends of the victims defriended Janelle Potter on Facebook. She became angry and started harassing them. That's when the victims stepped in and defended their friends. Potter's dad found out, became upset, and took matters into his own hands. County Mayor Dan Eldridge said the county's in the midst of a synthetic drug emergency. And with that in mind, the Washington County, Tennessee attorney is drafting a public nuisance ordinance that's aimed at synthetic drugs and the businesses that sell them.
Ultimately, for all of us, the goal is to shut these businesses down. We don't want them in our community.
Mayor Dan Eldridge's wife and several other mothers are organizing. They are planning a protest at the stores that sell the currently legal synthetic drugs.
I'm at the Old Gray Station Center, and the students are protesting. They're saying that the synthetic drug problem is, quote, so out of hand, and since these drugs aren't illegal, that they're protesting to put a stop to the selling of them here in Gray.
The 20th Food City 500 is in the books. 11 Connect Sports Director Kenny Hawkins has a race recap from BMS.
After cloudy conditions moved out of the area, it was pole sitter Greg Biffle who led them to the green flag. It only took 23 laps for there to be trouble. Casey Kane felt he was clear, but found out he was not. Keselowski would again assume the point when he goes around Kenseth for the lead. From there, he would survive one more caution flag and the challenge from Kenseth and Martin Truex Jr. to win the Food City 500, his 2nd straight win at the world's fastest half-mile oval.
Thanks for choosing 11 Connects at 5. I'm Josh Smith. An investigation continues tonight into the death of a 12-year-old Greene County boy after being hit by a school bus this morning. The incident happened around 6:40 on Holder Road in Greene County. The Tennessee Highway Patrol told us 12-year-old Austin Bogard was crossing the street to board the bus when it hit him. The report also said the bus driver, 61-year-old Ronnie Whitson, watched the boy's sister sit down in his rearview mirror and then began to pull away. THP said the girl told Whitson to wait because her brother was coming, but the driver did not stop in time. Johnson City's police chief told the people responsible for breaking into his house in the middle of the night and stealing from him while he was asleep that they are very lucky he did not wake up.
I am glad that I didn't wake up while they were in the house. I'll tell them that right now.
A Bluff City minister and cable show host accused of neglecting her husband and mother while they were in her care entered a plea deal today in court. A trial for Brenda Vyers was scheduled to start this morning in Sullivan County. In February, investigators say they found Brenda Vyers' husband and mother in an apartment filled with trash, bugs, and dead mice.
Straight ahead on 11 Connects, a warehouse catches fire and catches the attention of people all over Johnson City.
And once you see this video here in just a second, you'll see why so many onlookers and businesses were very concerned.
I've seen forest fires in Florida, but nothing like this.
Rex Atkinson owns East Tennessee Transmissions, just a road away from the burning building. Firefighters told people in a nearby gas station and a private home to evacuate too. Firefighters arrived in time to keep all the other buildings from catching fire. But that didn't keep onlookers from worrying.
Neighbors I talked to who live in this area near the VA and West Main Street say they see homeless people coming and going inside and out of this building. That part of it is still under investigation. Casey?
Thank you very much, Cameron Crafts, reporting from Johnson City.
2 parents accused of child neglect remain inside the Carter County Jail tonight. But their newborn child should now be able to get milk from his mother. In addition to neglect, police charge both with resisting arrest and the mother with assaulting an officer. Police also called in Child Protective Services. The Walkers' 3 children, all under the age of 3, are now in the care of their neighbor, and that includes an 8-week-old baby boy who up until this point could not get breast milk from his mother.
11 Connects' Nate Morabito just returned from Roan Mountain. Nate, what can you tell us?
Melissa, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation tells us officers are looking into the deaths of 2 people found in a burned or partially burned garage. The TBI is calling those people homicide victims. We're told a male and female were found shot to death inside a metal garage where they had been staying on the property. After their murders, TBI says someone set the building on fire. Bomb and arson investigators are now helping with the case.
Sullivan County Sheriff's Office says it's received numerous calls to the campsites of the Rainbow Family of Living Light Gathering of the Tribes. The group is meeting in the Cherokee National Forest near South Holston Dam. Today, the Sheriff's Office told us it has issued 203 warning notices, 117 violations, and made 9 arrests, including 2 assaults. The Sheriff's Office is aiding the National Forest Service during the gathering, which is expected to draw 15,000 people to the area. An ETSU basketball player accused of being caught in a lie and charged with filing a false police report after 2 of his teammates were robbed on campus earlier this year. Said Cooley lied when he told them the burglars who bound and gagged his 2 teammates back in February also stole $1,300 in cash from him. Cooley wasn't home at the time of the reported burglary, but his roommate J.C. Ward and other teammate Adam Salazzo were. Jesse also told us Judge James Nidifer placed Cooley on judicial diversion. Sport police charged 28-year-old Stephen Dudley Brock with child rape after witnesses say he molested 4 children in a motel swimming pool. Parents complained that Brock had inappropriately touched 3 girls and a boy. 2 of the girls were taken to the hospital to be checked out. Brock told police he was confronted and beaten by several men, but refused to identify them. Police charged Brock with 2 counts of child rape and public intoxication.
Nearly month-long National Rainbow Family Gathering at the Cherokee National Forest expected to wrap up tomorrow, and some of the 6,500 gatherers who attended are leaving with a little bit of legal trouble. Well, tonight we learned officers have also issued 11 citations for public nudity at the gathering. And there's a subculture within this rainbow gathering of people who prefer to be nude while in the woods. The Bristol Herald-Courier snapped this picture July 4th, and in it more than a dozen people aren't wearing any clothes.
Channing Churchill from California says this is the most dressed she's been in a while. The only reason she's wearing clothes today, she wants to dance on the main road and says she would have gotten a ticket had she been naked. Officers have seen their fair share.
In Greene County, early voting has been brisk as residents are deciding whether to approve a wheel tax increase and whether to keep their long-standing state representative. David Hawk is a Republican who's represented the 5th District since 2002. But Hawk has been dealing with more than just a re-election campaign. He is preparing to defend himself in court after being accused of domestic assault earlier this year, a charge to which he pleaded not guilty. Today I spoke with Representative Hawk about that and his campaign for re-election.
I wouldn't wish the last 4 months on anyone.
Mary Shane Morgan's case is headed to a federal grand jury. And we were there Tuesday as police arrested Morgan at the Fox Motel in Johnson City. He's charged with Monday's armed robbery of the Greenville Federal Bank on East Andrew Johnson Highway. The FBI says the man made off with more than $28,000 in cash.
I'm Nate Morabito, live in the Dry Creek community, among the hardest hit in the area. I'll have a live report coming up.
Hey, we've learned the governor has declared Tennessee in a state of emergency. People driven from their homes by the floods, hoping now that translates into some financial help as they dry out. 11 Connect's Nate Morabito begins our team coverage tonight live from the Dry Creek community.
Somewhere between 50 and 80 people do not have a place to live tonight, and most of those people, he says, do not have insurance, which is certainly a concern. State Representative Matthew Hill, noticing that, contacted the governor's office earlier today. He told me to formally request some disaster relief for this area. That would allow the money to come here and assist the people who are in need. Doug Wilson is one of the many who need that help. He was inside his home last night when the floodwater lifted it from its foundation and carried it 50 yards away into the road.
Late Friday night, Virginia police say the helicopter took off from a Washington County, Virginia residence. Shortly after takeoff, the helicopter, a Bell 407, crashed into the lake. Officials later confirmed that the aircraft is owned by Cavat Food Stores, the owners of Food City. A spokesperson told 11 Connects the pilot was picking people up from Bristol Motor Speedway after Friday night's race and dropping them off at the residence on the lake. Officials say the pilot was the only person on board at the time of the crash.
Track owner Bruton Smith said it was time for a change. He had crews mill down the concrete banks. That happened after a survey of fans in which many said progressive banking, as it was called, introduced in 2007 to improve safety, robbed the track of its exciting edge.
And who will be on the pole of the world's fastest half-mile oval was decided this afternoon for that nationwide race. Not good news for Danica Patrick as she gets loose in the GoDaddy.com Chevy, and luckily she keeps it out of the wall. She would start 34th.
You can see multiple ambulances. If you're just flipping through and joining us here on 11 Connects, we are in breaking news coverage of a school bus crash in Washington County, Tennessee that happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon, about an hour and 20 minutes ago. The Tennessee Highway Patrol said the tires dropped off the right side of the road and the bus overturned multiple times. That bus 88, had 67 students on it, and now the Tennessee Highway Patrol confirms that 22 of them were taken to hospitals not only in Johnson City, the Johnson City Medical Center, Franklin Woods Community Hospital, but also to the trauma unit at Holston Valley Medical Center.
Helicopters have been coming in. 3 to 4 different helicopters have been dropping off critically injured students, and ambulances have been streaming in, as well as parents.
This was the scene earlier today at the emergency medical department at the Johnson City Medical Center. Multiple helicopters flying in patients. Wellmont 1, one of the helicopters, Wings Air Rescue as well, transporting patients. 11 Connects' Nate Morabito is in the Conklin community. He is at a church near the crash scene, and from what we could tell, Nate, you've not been able to get, or any reporters haven't been able to get close in, and again, we're very happy to give emergency management their space.
From what Cameron was told from some family members nearby, for some students who were on that bus, and I'll let her tell you here in just a minute, they thought that bus was going way too fast for these country roads.
I talked to a couple parents who were told that it was actually going about 70 miles per hour.
Next thing I know, I hear the tire screech and we're starting flipping, and then I end up under a bunch of people.
Well, right now the big issue on the site is getting this school bus upright and taking a record to get it out of here. You are now looking at video of that school bus getting towed away. As I said, it is now at the county school bus garage. Tomorrow, investigators will take a closer look at that bus. An investigator on scene confirmed to our crew a meth lab was found. One nearby resident says she is shocked this happened in her neighborhood.
Elizabethton police told us that dump truck was turning left on Lynn Avenue from Broad Street this afternoon. At the same time, 2 children were walking in the crosswalk on Broad Street. Police said the older child made it across safely, but the dump truck driver did not see the other child and hit him. The 4-year-old boy was taken to Sycamore Shoals Hospital, where police said he was pronounced dead. Elizabethton police are still investigating. Investigators say Brenda Gray's reckless driving is what caused the September 20th school bus crash that injured 26 of her passengers. Prosecutors charged the 6-year Washington County employee with 39 felonies, one for every student who was on the bus that day.
On the way to that Mount Wesley Road bus stop, Clark says she took a curve too fast, overcorrected, and rolled the bus twice. One of the most seriously injured students is Cheyenne Bunton. She attended today's announcement along with her parents. Prosecutors say they're not alleging the bus driver acted intentionally. Still, they say she should be punished. And Josh, listen to this. If convicted of just one of the most serious charges, she could face anywhere from 2 to 12 years in prison. Specialist Jason Edens was set to return home from Afghanistan in no time. His wife never expected him to come home like this.
His platoon, there was like maybe 15 of them. Every single one of them wrote me a letter listing their favorite things about him.
She's since moved back to the city where she and Jason fell in love and recently made a big life decision.
Does it scare me? No, I'm more excited.
Something she thinks would make her husband proud. This week, the bubbly 23-year-old started a new career.
I smiled the whole way through. Everyone was serious, and I was just like this, like, I do honorably swear.
A job that links her past to her future.
I'm joining because I have pride for this country.
Thursday, she enlisted in the Army.
I'm so glad to have the Army to give me that future again.
A way to honor her fallen soldier.
Now Jason is sort of my brother in arms as well as my husband.
2 of those right here in our region as courthouses in Greene and Carter counties were searched today. In all, the threats targeted 29 courthouses, 9 in West Tennessee, 6 in Middle Tennessee. But the majority of the threats were received here in East Tennessee.
So take a look at some of this scene video from earlier this afternoon in Carter County. That phone call came into the Carter County Courthouse a little before noon today. The building and businesses nearby were all evacuated by the Elizabethton Police Department.
When Kiara grows up, oh, what a story she'll have to tell. She's resting quietly in the hospital now, but she wasn't born here.
My water broke, and I was like, oh, God.
On the way from Elizabethton to Johnson City,
He was on the phone. I was cussing him.
the father-to-be had no choice but to call 911.
And the next thing I know, she hollered, oh, God, its head's coming out, its head's coming out. And that was a wrap for me.
These cars won't get out of my way. I don't know what to do. So don't kill my baby.
Listen to me. I was glad that I could help him.
Dispatcher Bobby Pope answered his call.
I was nervous,
But she didn't let the dad in on that secret. At 23, she's never given birth, but she has now delivered a baby. She has her training to thank for that.
Desmond, listen to me. We need to get the baby out of her. Pull the vehicle over.
She calmly convinced the dad to pull over. By then, the baby was out.
Oh, my God, I'm so terrified.
That's all right, Desmond. You're doing a really good job.
This all went down just a mile from the hospital. The dispatcher thought it'd be safer to actually deliver this baby in the car than have the father rushing down the road.
The News Channel 11's Chris McIntosh shows us 8-year-old Joshua Adcock may be getting more Christmas cards than anyone in the Tri-Cities this year.
So what we're going to do today, and you all have been working on your addition.
Vanessa Honeycutt's second graders at Sulphur Springs Middle School are missing one of their classmates. Joshua Adcock is currently in Nashville at Vanderbilt, undergoing treatment for a rare form of dwarfism. But he's never far from his classmates' thoughts.
They've been so sweet. They pray for him. They are always asking about him. They make cards for him all the time. This is a card for Joshua.
Honeycutt and her second graders have now decided to ask folks from around the region to help make this Christmas extra special for Joshua and his family by putting $1 in a Christmas card and sending a message of holiday wishes and encouragement for Joshua.
It's a joy that we can make all these cards and have all this money for him to buy some medicine to where he can get out to the hospital and come to school, because I know that he misses us too.
960, not counting the ones I just brought.
And the people at Nicewanger Children's Hospital and Mountain States Health Alliance know Joshua, and they're pitching in to collect cards for their former patient.
And I knew there were lots of people here that loved Josh and his family, so I just
mentioned it to several of the nurses, and it just spread like wildfire. Everybody wanted to help that family. And
even with all of the cards and well wishes, Joshua's classmates have one more message they want to pass along to him. In Washington County, Tennessee, Chris McIntosh, News Channel 11, in your corner.